Thank you. Last year, Tulsa Public Schools estimated that 1,200 of their students experienced homelessness at some point during the school year. As these young people and others enter into adulthood with little family support, poor education, or job experience, they're at risk of becoming the chronically homeless adults of tomorrow. Youth Services of Tulsa has been serving this population for years, helping young people with employment specialists that teach them how to build that resume, search for that job, find that and interview. But many of the young people had difficulty maintaining that employment. And in talking with area employers, we asked them, what's the common thing with employees that stick around, employees that excel and move up? And invariably, it was something to do with attitude or teamwork or communication, reliability, those intangible soft skills of employment that you and I might take for granted. So we teach our young people these skills in the best way possible by employing them. Using a Tulsa Area United Way Innovation Grant and in close partnership with the Community Food Bank of Eastern Oklahoma, we get up early, very early, every morning to make and sell breakfast tacos in the downtown area. And, I don't know how reliable you were at 18. I was not the most reliable employee at that age. And with many of the young people in their first month, we have that first no-call, no-show. And taking the time to explain to them in a way that a traditional employer could never be expected to, that, you didn't show up, so I had to do this. And this person you really like had to do this. And today we're starting behind because you weren't here and we needed you. And watching that realization dawn on them so many times, I realized they're not used to being relied upon. They're not used to having this expectation placed on them. And they rise to it. We set that bar very high. And invariably, they reach for it. A young person that, may have those attendance issues in the first month, after 3 months, many times, I'm sending them out to be in charge of the bike route. They are in charge of the taco sales. They're in charge of maintaining the cash box. They're in charge of another youth worker. They're responsible for what happens, and they embrace that responsibility. I'm very proud of the traditional successes that T-Town Tacos has had. We've successfully transitioned 5 young people into that community employment. But I'm happy to have the venue here today to talk about some of the things other things I'm really proud about that I don't get to talk about a lot. And I think foremost of those is confidence. If a young person was at all street homeless in the downtown area, they feel like they have a mark, or they're labeled, like there's something separating them, that they're outside this community looking in. And we get them out there, we get them talking to the public, we get them interacting with the public. And these young people that were so bashful they wouldn't look at someone, they're cracking a joke with a customer, catching me off guard. And that is one of the most rewarding aspects of my job. The other side of that is the Tulsa community. I'm really proud of my hometown that the downtown community has embraced T-Town Tacos. And, I never want to put them on a spotlight when we're out there. Say, here's this homeless youth. Look at everything he's doing now. But many people in the community, they do know what we are and who these youth are, and they joke back with them. They treat them like they would treat anyone else, which is precisely what they need. And the last thing that I'm really proud of is the greatest problem that I have in T-Town Tacos. And that is that youth don't want to leave. We get youth in that this is maybe their first job, and this is the first place that they've felt really successful at. This is the first place that they've really felt at home at. And in working with them to get them to that point that they want to go, because they fear that community employment. They think this is the only place I'm going to be good at something. And sitting down with them to build that resume, to go over everything that they do have to offer, is really phenomenal. And in fact, my most recent success story as a young person who, a year ago today, he was street homeless. He's now working at a fine dining establishment in downtown Tulsa. And when we built his resume, he really dug his heels in on looking for jobs. After we built his resume and had it looking very nice and professional, and he was looking over it and looked up at me and said, man, I didn't realize I had all this to offer. It's what really is I'm most grateful for in my job, and I'm happy that I was able to share that good news with you today.